You know, the one bad part about being good at tying knots is that you have to get the knots out. And some of those knots are intended, like a good fishing knot, not to come out at all. In my first video, if you caught it, I showed you, sorry if the camera's, hold on, I caught the camera. Okay, in my first video there I showed you the fisherman's knot and my favorite, the trilene knot, using a monofilament line. If you're using a braided line, you got to use something a little different. Anyway, we're going to tie the Palamar knot, and let me show you a nice close-up. Hopefully with my really cheap camera and fishing hook that couldn't catch anything, you can see what I'm doing here. Double my line. I'm going to take my doubled over line, put it through the eye of the hook. I'm going to tie that overhand knot, cross it around, put it through the bite down here. Okay, now I'm not going to pull it too tight, just mildly a little bit snug-ish. This piece goes over top of the whole hook or lure, comes back to the other side, and it just goes right down there. So I'm just going to help hold it in place for now. And this is a rope that doesn't slip very well, so I'll have to kind of pull it and wiggle it through. But that's the knot. You just tighten it from there. On a braided line, you just pull it. Grab the hook or lure and pull your line. It snugs up fast and quick. You can pull one side and then the other sometimes, and then this side. This is my main piece here. This is my working end. This is the fishing line side. So I give that an extra snug. And that's all it is. That's the Palamar knot. So it does have that good kind of 75 to 95% strength of the entire line on this bearing point. Now let's get a good look at this knot. You can see, if you look back at the previous video of the trilene knot, these knots are very similar in look. You have 2 points up here, there's some windings down here, there's some extra kind of crossings going on in the back. And because there's extra crossings back here, we don't need as many wraps down here, so we get a smaller knot. If you do want a knot to do some lighter fishing, if you're looking for something like, if you're fishing for trout in crystal clear water, or if you're going up with me this spring to Torch Lake for smallmouth, where you can literally spot a fish swimming 150 yards away, it's that clear up there. You want to use smaller knots, I'll probably go with a knot like the Palamar, even for my mono up there, because it's smaller. It's just less involved, and you're going to scare the fish less. When you're tying a knot, generally like a basic knot, something like the fisherman's knot, that gives you about 50% of the actual line's strength on your knot. When you have one piece going around that pinch point where it gets compressed and bent around the hook and it stretches, then you lose about half the strength of your line there. When you have two bearing points like in the Palamar or trilene knot, you only lose about generally 5 to 15% depending on the line and the hook and how well it's snugged and even. You'll lose, 5 to 15% of the strength of the line. So you keep almost the entire strength of the line. That's why you got to use a knot as much as possible that has a double bearing point like this one does. So those are the two primary fishing knots that'll cover about 99.8719, I think, percent of everything you're going to need in fishing. Your trilene knot and your Palamar knot. The Palamar knot is a little bit more finesse. The trilene knot is good, it's quality, it's strong. It doesn't work well on a lot of the braid lines. The Palamar knot works on everything. So I guess the question is, why haven't I switched over to that completely? I like the trilene knot because my dad taught it to me, and it's tradition and nostalgic, and it brings back good memories of fishing with my dad as a kid every time I tie the knot. So I'm going to keep using it for that reason, but the Palomar is great too. Alright, I gotta run. No sense keeping you today. I hope to see you out on the water sometime. Let's get fishing. Have you ever gone fishing on a hot and sunny day? Did you step on a log? Did the log roll away with your hands in your pockets and your pockets in your pants? Watching the fish do what you watch you dance. Fish all day, fish all night. Never get a single bite with your hands in your pockets and your pockets in your pants. Watching the fish do what you watch you dance.